If you're wondering why so many people are moving to Dallas right now, and whether that keeps going in 2026, this is the video to watch. Because behind the scenes, there are some massive companies expanding here that people aren't paying attention to at all. And here's the thing about real estate. The biggest opportunities don't happen after everyone knows about something. They happen while it's still building. So in this video, we're breaking down which major companies are expanding in DFW, where those jobs are landing, and how that affects home prices across the metroplex. And since we work here every day, we're going to connect all of this to what we're actually seeing on the ground right now, not just the headlines.
As we go through this, don't just think about the companies themselves. Think about the ripple effect they create. When a major employer expands, it's not just about jobs, it's about where those employees choose to live, what they buy, and how that demand spreads into nearby suburbs. We see this with our clients all the time. Someone gets a job in Plano and suddenly they're looking at Frisco, McKinney, or Prosper, depending on their lifestyle. So in this video, we want to help you connect the dots between these corporate moves and what they actually mean for you as a buyer.
So let's start with finance and tech, because this is one of the biggest drivers of high-income buyers that are coming into DFW. Goldman Sachs, JPMorgan Chase, and Wells Fargo all have their presence in Dallas or in the surrounding areas, and in a very big way. Goldman Sachs is building out a brand new campus in Dallas, and that will house thousands of employees. JPMorgan has a major hub in Plano. Wells Fargo recently opened a massive new campus in Irving. And so when you bring in all that level of income, it directly moves the housing market in the areas around them.
And we're already seeing exactly where those buyers are going. A lot of them are choosing suburbs like Plano, Frisco, and Southlake, not just because they're close to work, but because of the schools and the lifestyle. Plano has been a corporate hub for years, and that's kept demand super steady even as prices have risen. Frisco keeps pulling buyers who want newer homes and a more modern suburban feel. So when we talk about these companies moving in, it's not just abstract. It means more competition for homes in these areas right now.
Here's something most buyers don't actually think about. By the time you hear about a company moving in, the closest suburbs usually already have seen their biggest price jumps. So what happens next is that demand starts pushing outward. We've watched this happen in real time in North Dallas. Buyers who feel priced out of Plano or Frisco are now looking at McKinney, Celina, or even all the way up into Anna. And we call this the ripple effect. The real opportunity is usually just outside the hottest areas, not inside of them.
And that brings us to what might be the most underrated growth story in all of DFW right now. The semiconductor expansion happening north of the metro. Texas Instruments is building a massive facility in Sherman, part of a $60 billion expansion, and this is not a small deal. It's expected to bring thousands of jobs over time. Engineers, technicians, support roles, all of them needing housing nearby. And historically, projects like this don't just impact one city, they transform entire regions.
Yeah, and so Sherman and Denison are about an hour north of Dallas. They've always been outside the main growth zone in more farm towns. But when you bring Texas Instruments in, that changes extremely fast. We're already seeing more interest in cities along that corridor, places like Alstyne and Howe. This is early stage growth. Prices haven't caught up yet to what's coming, and it feels very similar to what Frisco looked like years before it really took off.
And most buyers don't know about this yet, which is exactly why it's an opportunity. People are still focused on the core DFW suburbs, not realizing that the major job hubs are being built just north of the metro. But once those jobs are fully up and running, housing demand follows very quickly. We've seen this pattern in Texas and across the country with very similar projects. Being early here could make a big difference.
Yeah, so now let's shift to something that affects the whole metroplex: logistics and transportation. So DFW is becoming one of the biggest logistic hubs in the country, and a lot of that is because of what's growing around the DFW Airport. American Airlines, headquartered right here, keeps investing in the area. And beyond airlines, you've got distribution centers, supply chain companies, and industrial developments expanding all around the airport corridor.
This type of growth matters because it creates a wide range of jobs, not just high-income corporate roles, but also mid-level and entry-level positions. That means housing demand spread across all price ranges, not just the top. Areas like Irving, Grapevine, and parts of Fort Worth are benefiting from this because of how close they are to the airport. And when you have that kind of diverse job base, it makes the housing market more stable overall.
So when you step back and look at all of this together, you see a clear picture. High-income jobs coming in through finance and tech, massive long-term projects like TI creating new growth corridors north of the metro, logistic expanding across a whole region, and all of it feeds into housing demand. This is why DFW keeps growing faster than almost anywhere in the entire country. It's not just people moving here, it's jobs that are pulling them here.
That is right, and this is where a lot of buyers make a mistake. They focus on what's already popular instead of where things are going. It's really easy to look at Frisco or Plano and say, hey, that's where I should buy, but those areas are already very established. The better question is where demand is heading next based on these job trends. That's where understanding this kind of information becomes really valuable.
100%. So if you're buying in DFW in 2026, pay attention to where jobs are being created, not just where home prices are high today. The best decisions are based on where the market is heading over the next 5 to 10 years. And that's something that we spend a lot of time helping our clients figure out every day.
Yes, because every buyer situation is a little different. Some people want to be close to work right now. Others are willing to go a little further out for more long-term upside. There is no one-size-fits-all answer, but having this kind of insight changes everything, especially in a market like DFW where things move really fast.
So if you're planning to move to Dallas or anywhere inside of DFW, reach out to us directly. We will help you not just find a home, but figure out exactly where you should be looking based on your goals and what's happening in the market around you. And if you're watching this from out of state, we can walk you through everything step by step so that you feel completely confident in your decision. Subscribe for more videos like this, and we'll see you next time.